We welcome you inside Hummel Fieldhouse to Nutting Gymnasium for today's PAC volleyball matchup between the visiting Waynesburg Yellow Jackets and your Bethany Bison. Hello everyone, Drew Von Sayo here with you this afternoon on the Bethany Broadcasting Network, streamed live on YouTube. The Bison come into today with an overall record of 9-8, just a game over 500 with a conference record of 6-3, good for fourth in the PAC. This Bethany squad is looking to make it 25 straight victories over Waynesburg. Yes, you heard that correctly, 25 straight victories on the line here today, a record that dates back to September 30th, 2009, which was very early in Coach Hillier's tenure at the helm of this Bison program. Waynesburg sit with an overall record of 9-4, 3-10 in conference play, and 8th in the PAC. After starting 7-4, including the conference play opener against the W&J Presidents, the Yellow Jackets have gone 2-10 over their last 12, dating back to them getting swept by the Bison at Rudy Marissa Fieldhouse on September the 21st, leaving Coach Taylor and her side with more questions than answers. Our officiating crew today is as follows: Tim Lutton, your up official, the R1, Sue Osleger, the R2, Barry Schafrin, L1 on the near side, and Steve Dovershelski, the L2, opposite your screen. As the clock winds down towards 0 and the teams conclude their warm-ups, we get set now to send it to Erica Sansom for the official introduction of today's starting lineups and the playing of the national anthem. All set for volleyball right here between the visiting Waynesburg Yellow Jackets and your Bethany Bison. We'll run through those starting lineups again here quickly for you. For Waynesburg, Emma Hyatt, Maya Brooks, Kayla Stohan, Michaela Osborne, Hannah Burr, Paige Cowsley, the libero, Allison Johnson, the senior from Raceland, Kentucky. For the Bison, Jess Moore, Paige Allen, Olivia Kaler, Riley Felton, Elena Torres, Emma Marthins, and Brooke Corley, the libero for Coach Hillier today. A very experienced lineup for Coach Hillier this afternoon as she sends a handful of seniors onto the court to start this one. Waynesburg will be set to serve first here, get this set underway. Reminder of your officiating crew: Tim Lutton, your R1, Sue Oslager, R2, L1, Barry Schafrin, and L2, Steve Dover-Shelsky. As teams get set to undergo final adjustments, that players on the court talking amongst themselves. See some members of the Bethany men's soccer team making their way into Nutting Gymnasium. Watch a little bit before their kickoff, scheduled for 3:30 at Donald Field against the Teal Tomcats. It will be Cowsley serving for Waynesburg, dug out by Allen as Torres sets for Jess Moore, that time dug out by the libero Johnson as Cowsley setting for Osborne. Allen getting a hand to it there. Torres trying to keep it alive but can't, so Waynesburg will get the early point. Service over from Cowsley, one off the arms of Allen, over the head of Kaler. As the Bison continue to not be on the same page, allow Waynesburg to get on the board for the first 2 points of this set. Serve dug out by Kaler. Torres sets for Marthins with a little redirect over the net. Waynesburg unable to keep it alive this time, and Emma Marthins gets the Bison on the board, immediately checking out of the game as her left shoe fell off, so it'll be the libero Corley to serve now for Bethany. As that service that time as Cowsley sets for Brooks. Kaler digging, set for Torres, redirected by Waynesburg. Now Corley trying to set it for Moore and can't, as it'll carry into the bleachers on the near side, extending the lead to 3-1 for Waynesburg as Michaela Osborne, the freshman from Salem, Ohio, drops back to serve. One just clearing the top of the net as Corley sets it for Torres, that time dug out by Brooks, as Cowsley sends it far side to Johnson. Dug out by Kaler. Torres sending for Moore on the near side with a powerful strike. That one will take a deflection off of the Yellow Jackets and a kill there for Jess Moore. She will immediately check out of the game in favor of Asia Krim, the freshman from Shoals, Indiana. Krim immediately back to serve. As that time it's dug out by the Yellow Jackets, but unable to keep it alive as it came off the hands of Burr, but unable to stay high enough. Bison have leveled this one up at 3 apiece. The serve over from Krim, that time dug out by Burr, as Cowsley will set for Brooks on the near side, rather Osborne. Kaler gets that one over, that one deflecting off of Osborne as her and Johnson about collided down right in front of the Waynesburg bench. Allows Bethany to get their first lead here in set 1. Serve over from Krim to the near side as Cowsley sets that time. Torres now setting for Kaler with a powerful effort, but that time over the head of Johnson. Leveled at 4 once again. Johnson will check out of the game in place of Emma Hyatt. As it's Stohan serving. Dug out by Kaler, getting over the net. That one will redirect off of the fingertips of Kaler. She goes far side. Diving effort there from Osborne, but that one will carry out of play. As Brooke Dahlgren checks in now for Paige Allen. The Bison reestablishing their lead. All 10 teams in volleyball In action today in the President's Athletic Conference, Westminster defeating Teal 3-0. Grove City 3-1 over Chatham, as miscommunication there from Waynesburg barely keeps it afloat, as it's Burr who sends it over. Now Torres setting for Kaler. Kaler with a powerful effort. That one off the hands of Paige Kousley and into the bleachers on the near side. Now animate this crowd here in Nutting Gymnasium, as it's Torres serving for the Bison. That time dug out by Osborne. She will send it over herself, just out of play, as Asia Krim had to ensure that it truly was not going to sneak inside the line on the far side. 7-4 Bison lead here in set one. Service over from Torres, dug out by Johnson. Now Kousley, as it's redirected over by Hyatt. That one off the fingertips of Kaler. Waynesburg will get a point back, as Haley Dufala and Alexis Marsh enter for the Yellow Jackets in place of Maya Brooks and Paige Kousley. As it's Dufala who served, dug out there by Kaler. Torres will set for Dahlgren on the near side. A violation against the Bison. I believe they're going to get Dahlgren that time for stepping over midcourt. Service over from Dufala, dug out by Krim. Torres will set for Kaler with a powerful effort. Allison Johnson can't do a thing about it. And the Bison reestablish their 2-point lead here in set one. Emma Marthin's back in for the libero Corley, as Riley Felton is set to serve for the Bison. The service that time dug out by Johnson, as it's Dufala, redirection over from Hyatt. Now Torres setting for Kaler. That one sent back over by the Yellow Jackets. Torres sets it for Dahlgren far side. That one will redirect off of Stohan. Bison scrambling to try to get it over, as Kaler will do just that. Very big rally here going on in set one. That one off the hands of Felton. Torres able to send it over. Now it's Dufala, dug out beautifully by Riley Felton. As Kaler goes far side. Burr setting for Dufala. Now Alexis Marsh with the redirect. Torres sends it over herself, dug out by Johnson. Dufala, that one to Hyatt, and that one will sneak just inside the line on the near side, as Emma Hyatt, the freshman from Carmichaels, Pennsylvania, ending that rally, giving the point to the Yellow Jackets, as Brooke Corley checks in for Riley Felton. Jordan Stein entering the game in place of Hannah Burr. Stein, the freshman from Manor, Pennsylvania, a Norwin High School product. The service over that time is dug out by Kaler. Torres sets for Marthins. That'll deflect off the fingertips of Hyatt, as Johnson tries to set it up for Marsh. She does. Torres now setting far side for Dahlgren with a little bit of a shovel pass, dug out by Johnson. And now Dufala sends it over. Krim over to Kaler on the near side, dug out by Johnson. Dufala sets far side for Osborne. We got a stoppage of play from Sue Oslager, and a point in favor of the Yellow Jackets levels this one up at 8. Sue Oslager, the down official, or two. Spot on with the call there as Krim digs it out. Torres setting for Dahlgren on the near side. That'll redirect over from Hyatt, as Dahlgren gets it over once more. And this time a violation against Waynesburg, as Tim Lutton, the R1, quick to blow the whistle. Jess Moore back into the game for Asia Krim, as the Bison lead 9-8 in set one. Kaler's service dug out by Johnson, as it's Dufala setting for Marsh. That one will drop just in front of Dahlgren. Waynesburg once again knotting it up, this time at 9 apiece. Stohan will re-enter the game in place of Emma Hyatt. Stohan from Summerhill, Pennsylvania. Serve from Johnson, dug out by Corley. Torres set for Dahlgren, as it's Dufala. Bethany scrambling to keep it alive. Torres needing to get it over, and she does. Johnson over to Dufala. That one redirected by Stohan. The Bison scrambling with a collision. Point going in favor of Waynesburg, as Brooke Dahlgren slow to get up. Check out of the game. Rather stay in after a brief conversation with Coach Hillier. Service over from Johnson, dug out by Dahlgren. As Torres will set for Jess Moore on the near side. Dug out that time by Osborne. Osborne will redirect it over herself. Corley setting for Dahlgren, far side. Torres will keep it afloat, but not before Tim Lutton quick to point out that was the fourth hit against the Bison, for the Bison rather. Makes it 11-9 in favor of Waynesburg. That service over the head of Kaler. Service error against Allison Johnson, the libero for Waynesburg. Paige Allen re-entering in place of Brooke Dahlgren. Allen will immediately draw back the serve as Coach Courtney Hillier sends her in at the right time for the rotation. As DeFala sets for Marsh near side, redirected by Marthins. Waynesburg cannot keep it up in the air. Bethany able to tie this one up once again, this time 11 apiece, as Allen will continue to serve. That service off the hands of Stein. And now as Stohan tries to send it over, Tim Lutton quickly blowing play dead, awarding the Bison a point. Bison have taken the last two. We're trailing 11-10, now ahead 12-11. As it's DeFala setting for Marsh on the near side, redirected again by Emma Marthins, extending this Bison lead. Emma Marthins, a forced middle blocker from Elkridge, Maryland, right up there in front of the net. Service over from Allen, dug out by Stein. DeFala setting for Osborne. That one will deflect off the hand of Kaler. Get Waynesburg to cut the deficit in half. As it was Stohan who sent it over for Waynesburg in place of Osborne. Cowsley serving for Waynesburg, Chartiers Valley High School product in Pittsburgh, as it's dug out by Allen. Now Torres setting for Jess Moore near side. That one will just be out of play. The line judges getting calls mixed there, but Barry Schafrin on the near side overruling Steve Dobroshelski, as Allen with another dig. Torres quickly over to set for Kaler. That's that one over as it's dug out by Stein. Now Cowsley setting for Osborne. Corley with the dig, who sets for Torres, redirected over by Marthins, dug out by Johnson, as it's Cowsley setting for Osborne on the near side. Allen right there to receive. Jess Moore with a little redirect, dug out by Osborne once more. Waynesburg will be caught with 4 hits, so the Bison will reestablish a lead here in set 1, 14-13. As Riley Felton re-enters for Emma Marthins. Service over from Corley. Miscommunication there from Waynesburg as Stein and Johnson were right there. Sent over by Maya Brooks. Torres over to Felton on the far side. Felton mistiming her jump. Allows Waynesburg to tie it up 14 apiece. More substitutions now for the Yellow Jackets, as it's Kayla Stohan serving for them. Dug out by Kaler. Torres quickly over to set for Jess Moore on the near side. More service that time, dug out by Cowsley. Now Johnson setting for Cowsley. Torres over to Moore. That one will redirect off of the Yellow Jackets, who somehow keep it afloat. As Torres sets for Moore once more. Moore will go far side. Jess Moore able to redirect it, as Waynesburg could not send it across the net, as the teams trade point for point here in set number 1. Asia Krim back into the game for the Bison. More fans continue to arrive here inside Nutting Gymnasium, as it's Cowsley setting for Osborne. Diving effort there from Krim, unable to get enough on it. We're tied once again as Emma Hyatt enters for the libero Johnson. And it'll be Michaela Osborne from Salem, Ohio serving. Rather, that's Kayla Stohan as Felton with a powerful effort there off the arms of Kousley. Now Hyatt will redirect Allen over to Torres, to Riley Felton, far side. That one blocked by Burr. And now Kaler on the near side, blocked again by the Yellow Jackets. And they're going to get Kaler for running into the net. Allow Waynesburg to take the lead once again. Stohan, the junior from Summerhill, Pennsylvania, her service over the head of Paige Allen, and just like that, tied up at 16 apiece as the sides continue to trade points. Will be Elena Torres serving for the Bison. Her service that time dug out by Osborne. Johnson setting now for Burr. Dug out by Kaler. Torres setting for Dahlgren, far side. That one off the hands of Kousley, back over to the Bison's half of the court. Torres sets for Felton with a little shovel pass. Kaler saving it for Bethany as Torres sets back for Kaler. Dug out by Osborne. Now Kaler with a redirect, and Olivia Kaler gets the Bison the lead here, 17-16. Kaler from Pickerington, Ohio, doing her job right there in front of the net as the outside hitter. Service over from Torres, that one off the hands of Hannah Burr. Elena Torres will gladly take that point as the Bison lead by 2 now here in set number 1. Service over from Torres that time. It was Brooks sending it over for Waynesburg, but out of play. So another point there for the Bison. Service over from Torres that time, dug out by Burr as Kousley sets for Osborne. Now the Bison scrambling to get it over. Torres will set it for Kaler, dug out there by Osborne. Dahlgren pushes it up for Torres, who sets it for Kaler with a powerful effort, redirected off of Maya Brooks, and it'll drop into no man's land on the Bison half of the court. Allow Waynesburg to tack on another point as Alexis Marsh and Haley Dufala re-enter. And it'll be Dufala, the freshman from Cleveland, serving for the Yellow Jackets as it's dug out by Krim. Torres right up there in front of the net, setting for Dahlgren with a powerful strike. Brooke Dahlgren, all 6 feet from Allen, Texas, doing the job that time. Getting the Bison closer and closer to being crowned victors of set 1. Emma Marthin's back in for the libero Corley. It's Felton service that time, dug out by Osborne. Dufala setting for Marsh on the far side, dug out by Felton. Bison trying to keep it afloat. Marthin's already touching it once, could not do so again. And these squads just continue to trade point for point. Felton checks out of the game for Bethany. Burr heading to the bench for Waynesburg. It's Jordan Stein serving for Yellow Jackets. Powerful effort there from Marthin, sneaking it inside the line past Allison Johnson. As the Bison say to Waynesburg, anything you can do, I can do better. Allows Olivia Kaler to serve now for the Bison. That time dug out by Stein as Dufala sets near side for Marsh, redirected by Emma Marthins. Now Waynesburg frantic to get it over. Osborne does so successfully as Corley sets for more near side, off the hands there of Osborne. Dufala keeps it afloat, redirected by Brooke Dahlgren, and Dahlgren gets the Bison consecutive points. Here closer and closer to magic point number 25, and head coach Emily Taylor of the Yellow Jackets going to call a timeout, the first from either side here in set number 1. Bison ahead 22-18 after these sides went back and forth, trading point for point. Bison getting the last handful. Some other scores from around the conference in terms of volleyball. Geneva and St. Vincent facing off. St. Vincent ahead of Geneva 20-14 in set 1. Washington and Jefferson traveling to Steubenville, Ohio to take on Franciscan. Franciscan ahead 1-0 in terms of sets, leading set number 2 by a score of 4-1. Of course, we already mentioned Westminster defeating Teal 3-0. Grove City defeating Chatham 3-1. As the Bison have made their way back out onto the court, Waynesburg working on re-entering now. It'll be Kaler continuing to serve for the Bison. Her service that time dug out by Johnson as Hyatt sets for Osborne far side. Unable to get that one over the net is Osborne. The Bison will gladly take that point. Kaler's service that time well over the head of Allison Johnson. Service error going against Olivia Kaler as she could not keep that one down. Yellow Jackets trailing by 4 now. Service over from Johnson, dug out by Dahlgren. Torres will set near side for Jess Moore with a powerful effort, deflecting off of a pair of Yellow Jackets. The Bison just 1 point away from officially taking set 1. Paige Allen re-entering in place of Brooke Dahlgren. Over 15 minutes gone in women's soccer action between the Bison and Teal. Coach Taylor of Waynesburg calling another timeout, looking to stall any momentum the Bison have here before they clinch set 1. Coach Hillier having nothing to say really to her squad other than capitalize on the opportunity, claim the set. I mentioned before, Bethany and Teal facing off in women's soccer action at Coach Don Alt Field just outside Hummel Fieldhouse. No score through 19 minutes of play as the Bison women's soccer team looks for win number 1 in conference play. "25 seconds remaining on the timeout here. Coach Emily Taylor still continuing to discuss things over with her team. Taylor in her second season as head coach of Waynesburg after taking over in 2020. And now Waynesburg quickly back out onto the court as it'll be Allen back to serve for the Bison. Service over that time, just sneaking over the net. Michaela Osborne trying to make the diving effort, cannot. So Paige Allen quickly ending set 1 as the Bison take it by a score of 25-19. The Bison dominating late in the set. Mentioned earlier, both sides trading point for point through much of set number 1. The Bison showing their experience level, able to ultimately capitalize. As we see members of the Bison faithful heading to get some refreshments with 2.5 minutes between sets. Mentioned a little bit ago, Bison men's soccer team in action at 3:30 today at Coach Don Alt Field against the Teal Tomcats. PAC liking to use men's and women's soccer double headers as they do so now. Nonetheless, be sure to check that out either in person or live on the Bethany Broadcasting Network. For the time being, though, no score in the women's side. Women's volleyball ahead 1-0 over Waynesburg. Mentioned they took set 1, 25-19. As Coach Hillier, Coach Taylor continue to work through adjustments as it was not a perfect set number 1 for the Bison, as they had plenty to talk about in terms of room for improvement. Waynesburg's most recent results coming into today, losing 3-1 at Grove City on October the 14th, just 2 days ago. And then 2 days prior to that, losing 3-2 at home against Geneva. As for the Bison, coming off of back-to-back sweeps, Thursday night heading to Pittsburgh to take on Chatham, winning that 3-0, and then Tuesday night sweeping Teal in Greenville, Pennsylvania. Coach Hillier finally sending her squad back out onto the court here for set number 2. Coach Taylor going over some final tactical adjustments as this set becomes even more important for her squad, looking to not drop the first 2 sets would make their goal here very difficult. Mentioned in the pregame, the Bison looking for 25 straight victories over Waynesburg, that record dating back to September of 2009. As Sydney Kirker makes her first appearance here for the Bison, she will serve to kick off set number 2. Her service that time dug out by Johnson, sending it straight up into the air. Osborne quickly over, and Brooks will send it over. Kaler with the dig. Torres setting for Felton with a powerful effort, but that one just out of play, directly in front of Coach Emily Taylor for Waynesburg. And just like we saw in set number 1, the Yellow Jackets took point number 1. Bison hoping for similar outcome in the end as Osborne service dug out by Kirker. Torres setting near side for Jess Moore. A powerful effort off the fingertips of a pair of Yellow Jackets. Bison getting the point was Maya Brooks. Kayla Stohan right there, but the strike from Jess Moore too powerful. Jess Moore, one of the best outside hitters in the President's Athletic Conference. As the service over from Felton, just low enough there, but Waynesburg getting a fingertip to it. It was Osborne trying to keep it afloat, could not. As the Bison have taken the last 2 points. As it's Cowsley setting near side for Brooks, redirected by Emma Marthins. And Maya Brooks throws her hands up in disbelief as there's nothing she can do there, running into a brick wall known as Emma Marthins. Felton continuing to serve for Bethany. That time dug out by Burr as Cowsley sets for Stohan, redirected by Marthins. Now Johnson setting near side for Brooks. Torres setting for Jess Moore near side. That one redirected by Brooks, but out of play. And so the Bison continuing to extend that lead. Have taken the last 4 points after dropping the opening one. Bison taking set 1, 25-19 as that serves dug out by Johnson. As Cowsley sets for Brooks rather. Kaler and Moore unable to keep it afloat. So another point going back to Waynesburg. Corley will re-enter for Riley Felton. Allison Johnson out of the game for Waynesburg. As Stohan service dug out by Kaler. Torres setting for Marthins rather, and Emma Marthins with a little tip over the net into no man's land. Michaela Osborne the closest to it. Stohan out of the game in place of Johnson. See Asia Krim enter for Jess Moore. Bison ahead 5-2. Service over from Krim. As Cowsley sets for Hyatt with a powerful strike. Marthins getting her hand to it that time, but could not do much more than that. As Haley DeFalla and Alexis Marsh check back in. DeFalla from Cleveland, Valley Forge High School product. Alexis Marsh, the junior from Panama, New York. As a service over from DeFalla, set for Torres. Marthins far side. That one well out of play, but it won't matter. as play was stopped by Tim Lutton to award the Yellow Jackets a point. DeFala's service dug out by Kirker. Corley scrambling, keeps it alive for the Bison. Kaler sends it far side, dug out by Burr. And now it's DeFala setting for Burr once more, redirected by Marthins. And Emma Marthins doing what she does best, causing chaos directly in front of the net. As Dahlgren re-enters in place of Kirker. Torres serving for the Bison. Service that time dug out by Osborne, shoveled over by DeFala. Torres sets for Marthins, and Waynesburg cannot handle the heat of Emma Marthins. Osborne got a fist to it there that time, but that was all she got. And it dropped into Waynesburg's half of the court on the far side. Service over from Torres, hitting the top of the net, could not make its way over. Service error there from Torres, as Stein will check into the game in place of Hannah Burr. Stein, the Norwin High School product, will immediately draw back to serve. And that service dug out by Kaler. Torres scrambling to keep it alive. Asia Krim gets it over, dug out by Johnson. Now DeFala setting near side for Marsh. Diving effort there from Corley, keeps it alive. Now Kaler dug out by Johnson as DeFala sets far side for Osborne. Diving effort there from Corley, could not keep it in play. Allows Waynesburg to tack on the point. That one soaring well over the score table. The serve over from Stein. Diving effort from Kaler. Torres setting near side to Dahlgren. Dug out by Johnson. Now DeFala setting for Osborne. Trying to go cross court over the head of Asia Krim. Bison tacking on another point. So Tim Lutton, Sue Oslager making sure they're on the same page. Corley to serve now for the Bison. Her service that time dug out by Stein as DeFala sets for Osborne. Powerful effort there, dug out cleanly by Dahlgren as Torres sets for Kaler. That one will deflect off the hands of Alexis Marsh. Point in favor of the Bison. They lead set 2 here 9-6 after taking set 1 25-19. Service over from Dahlgren, dug out by Stein. Now DeFala setting near side for Marsh, dug out by Torres. Corley calling off Felton. Kaler, powerful effort to get it over. That one off the top of the net, just out of reach of a diving Jordan Stein. And Kaler gets the Bison into double digits. Serve over from Corley, dug out by Stein once more. DeFala setting for Hyatt. Corley that time sets for Kaler. Powerful effort there as Johnson and Stein run into each other. The Bison extending their lead. Corley continuing to serve. That one just sneaking inside the line. A service ace for Brooke Corley. Continues this Bison rally. That service dug out by Osborne as Johnson almost collided. Powerful effort there from Marsh as Corley redirects it over the net. DeFala setting far side for Osborne. Redirected in front of the net. Riley Felton, Brooke Dahlgren there to meet the Waynesburg offense. And Coach Taylor going to call a timeout for Waynesburg as it's 13-6 in favor of the Bison. Score table slow to put another point on the board. Over 30 minutes gone in the women's soccer contest, just outside. No score still between Teal and the Bison. As the volleyball Bison lead 13-6 here in set 2, taking set 1 25-19. You're watching PAC Volleyball live on the Bethany Broadcasting Network, streamed live on YouTube. Coach Courtney Hillier for the Bison, currently in her 15th season as head coach. Most recently claiming career win number 300 in a sweep against the Tomcats. Not the one just 4 days ago, but the matchup prior to that. It'll be Corley continuing to serve for this Bison squad. Service over from her, dug out by Johnson. DeFala scrambling over near side. That's Marsh who gets it over, rather Hyatt. And Asia Krim unable to control it. Allows the Yellow Jackets to get point. Stohan checking in place of Hyatt. As it's Johnson back to serve for Waynesburg. Dug out by Corley. Torres sets for Felton. Dug out by Johnson as DeFala sets central of the portion of the court. Felton trying to get it over as Kayla Stohan was right there for Waynesburg. And now the Yellow Jackets have control of set 2, taking the last 2 points since Coach Taylor called that timeout. Service over from Johnson, dug out by Kayla. Torres scrambling in front of the score table, sent over by Corley. Johnson with the dig. DeFala setting near side for Marsh as it's dug out by Torres. Now Corley setting far side for Dahlgren, goes cross court. Whistles blow. Sue Osslager, Tim Lutton on the same page. A point in favor of the Yellow Jackets. Now Coach Hillier signaling to R2 Sue Osslager that she would like to call a timeout. Bison's first here of the match and the set. As Coach Hillier clearly disappointed in her side. Coming out of the timeout from Coach Taylor, we're ahead 13-6. And now Waynesburg responsible for putting the last 3 points on the board. Take a look at other scores in terms of women's volleyball from around the PAC. St. Vincent and Geneva in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. St. Vincent taking set 1, but Geneva ahead 13-8 in set 2. And as for Washington and Jefferson and Franciscan took set 1, and they are ahead 23-20 in set 2. So Franciscan edging closer and closer to knocking off W&J. A reminder that the top 6 teams in the PAC volleyball will enter the tournament, the top 2 getting a bye. As Westminster sits atop the standings, followed by Grove City, Chatham a game behind them. Service over from Allison Johnson, dug out by Kaler as it's sent straight into the air. Corley over, sets for Dahlgren near side. Cross-court effort there from Dahlgren. And Waynesburg will just let it out of bounds. Jordan Stein quickly avoiding that one. Dug out by Kaler. Torres sets for Kaler. That one dug out beautifully by Jordan Stein. DeFala sets near side, but cannot get it over are the Yellow Jackets. Alexis Marsh trying to one-hand it over and could not. So Jess Moore will check back in place of Asia Krim. Olivia Kaler to serve now for the Bison. Her side ahead 14-10 in set 2. Service could not clip the top of the net for Kaler. It'll go down as another service error against the Bison as Waynesburg makes a pair of substitutions. Maya Brooks, Paige Cowsley entering in place of Alexis Marsh and Haley DeFala. Cowsley will immediately drop back to serve as it's dug out by Kaler. Torres with the set, more near side, that one off the hands of a pair of Jackets as Cowsley sets far side for Osborne. Tim Lutton quick to blow the whistle and end things, point going in place of the Bison. It'll be Kirker back to serve now for Bethany. Sydney Kirker making her second appearance here of the match. One's dug out there by Stein. As Cowsley sets far side for Brooks. Kirker redirects it over the net. Waynesburg's ball now as Cowsley sets far side for Osborne, who shovels that one over off the hands of Sydney Kirker. Gives Waynesburg another point as Hannah Burr checks in place of Jordan Stein. Service over. Could not get over, rather, as Michaela Osborne had that one hit off the top of the net. Marthins re-entering in place of Corley. As Riley Felton serving for Bethany. Dug out there by Osborne. Johnson setting for Burr, far side. Off the hands of Kaler. Now Jess Moore. Dug out there by Burr. Kousley sets near side for Brooks. That one out of play. Could audibly hear Sydney Kirker yelling that one was out from our position above the court. Bison leading 17-12 here in set 2. Felton service cannot get over, and the Bison continuing to have issues serving the ball. Have a strong indication that the Bison, their next practice will be heavily working on serves. As Stohan gets it over, Bison cannot keep it afloat as transfer from Kaler to Torres was miscued. Stohan service over from Waynesburg, dug out by Kirker. Torres near side to Jess Moore, that one off the fingertips of Emma Hyatt. Now Kousley setting far side for Burr, dug out there by Kaler right in front of the net. Marthins keeps it afloat. Corley shovels it over. Now Kousley setting near side for Brooks. Torres going far side to Kirker. That one off the hands of Kayla Stohan, and the Bison will say thank you very much and take the point. Reestablishes their 4-point lead. Asia Krim back in place of Jess Moore. Service over from Krim. Beautifully placed there by Asia Krim. Past the diving Michaela Osborne. Mark it down as a service ace for number 4 in white. Serve over from Krim. That time hits the top of the net, falls right back onto the Bison half of the court. As DeFala and Marsh check back into the game in place of Brooks and Kousley. It'll be the left-handed Haley DeFala serving now for Waynesburg. Dug out by Kirker. Torres sets near side for Kaler. A powerful effort, but just out of play, as Olivia Kaler got a bit too much on it that time. Bison still ahead by 3 here in set 2. Set 1, 25-19, dug out by Corley. Torres with the set for Kaler. This time Kaler keeps it in play past Allison Johnson, who fell to the ground, tried to keep it afloat and could not. Dahlgren will re-enter in place of Sydney Kirker. It'll be Torres serving now for the Bison. One just getting over the top of the net as DeFala sets for Hyatt. That one off the hands of Marthins, who immediately looks over to Coach Hilliard to explain herself. More substitutions for Waynesburg as Stein re-enters in place of Burr. Stein, as a part of the rotation, will immediately draw back to serve. That one's dug out by Corley, who falls to her knees. Powerful effort there from Kayla. Kaler off the hands of Haley DeFala. That one over the entirety of the bleachers on the near side. Bison leading by 4 points away from taking set 2. Service over from Corley, dug out by Johnson. DeFala with the set for Osborne. Dug out there by Krim. Torres gets it onto Waynesburg's half of the court, but under the net. So the Yellow Jackets taking that point right back. Hyatt will give way to Kayla Stohan as Johnson will be back to serve. Dug out there by Corley. Torres sets for Felton off the fingertips of the Yellow Jackets as Johnson keeps it alive. Marsh redirects it far side. Torres setting for Kaler near side. That one off the fingertips of the Jackets, and another point for the Bison. Jess Moore back in favor of Asia Krim, as Coach Hilliard goes to her experienced outside hitter looking to clinch these next 3 points. Serve over from Kaler off the hands of Stein. Brooks quickly over to save it. Pair of Yellow Jackets sending it over. Torres over to Dahlgren, dug out by Johnson. Now to follow with the set far side for Osborne. But Tim Lutton quickly blowing the play dead, as the point will go in favor of the Bison rather. Coach Taylor immediately calling a timeout, as we saw her do in set one when it got close to Bethany ultimately taking the set. Coach Taylor looking to stall any Bison momentum. Just 2.5 to play outside at Don Alt Field. No score between the Bison and the Tomcats. Mentioned this Bethany volleyball team sitting in 4th place in PAC play right now. If these standings hold, they will host Geneva in the opening round of the playoffs. Day and time to be determined, of course, as there's still a handful of regular season games to be played. A lot can change. Those same Geneva Golden Tornadoes ahead 21-13 in set number 2 after dropping set 1 to St. Vincent 25-22. And then Franciscan ahead 25-23 after taking set 1 25-17. Service over from Kaler, dug out by Johnson. To follow with the set near side from Marsh, dug out by Kaler once more. Torres setting for Dahlgren far side. Dug out by DeFala. Now Johnson with the set for Osborne. She goes cross court to the near side, and Michaela Osborne gets the point for the Yellow Jackets, as they now make a pair of subs. Maya Brooks re-entering along with Paige Cowsley. Mentioned the Presidents and Barons in action right now. Franciscan ahead 2-0. Ahead 4-3 in set 3. Dug out by Kaler. That one to Felton, dug out beautifully by Allison Johnson. Cowsley keeps it afloat. Osborne tries to get it over on hit number 3. Cannot. And the Bison ahead 24-19. Sydney Kirker will enter in place of Dahlgren. Kirker immediately dropping back to serve. Kirker looks to clinch. Magic number 25 cannot get the serve over. Frustration continuing to mount for the Bison in terms of their services. Michaela Osborne drops back to serve for Waynesburg. Dug out there by Kirker. Torres sets near side for Jess Moore. A powerful effort kept afloat by the Yellow Jackets. Osborne gets it over. Dug out by Kirker. Torres sets far side for Felton with a powerful effort. And Riley Felton says good night Waynesburg and takes set number 2, 25-20. This Bison squad just one set away from ultimately taking the match, looking for back-to-back sweeps of the Yellow Jackets in consecutive victory number 25. This Bethany squad has a packed schedule to end the season. At the beginning of October, they had a tri-match between themselves, Geneva, and Franciscan postponed. Those matches ultimately inserted to off days in the schedule. Over the final 18 days of the regular season, the Bison have 11 matches to play. So it'll be a lot of long bus rides and game experience for this Bison squad, but Coach Hillier certainly has the depth to make it happen, as those final conference games will be the decider for them and the rest of the President's Athletic Conference to sort out that 16 playoff field. Coach Emily Taylor of Waynesburg looking to avoid extending this losing streak would see them fall to 2-11 over their last 13. Mentioned earlier, Waynesburg starting the season 7-4. have been on a bit of a skid, have dropped their last 4 contests. Bison looking to make it 5 in a row this season for Waynesburg in terms of losses. Saw a few moments ago Coach Hillier, Coach Taylor submitting to the score table who will be on the court to start set number 3. Coach Hillier going with much of the same lineup. One big change being Anna Taylor entering the game, freshman from Steubenville, Ohio. The other 5 on the court right now for Bethany have all been consistent players for the Bison here through the first 2 sets. Those being the libero Brooke Corley, Olivia Kaler, Elena Torres, Jess Moore, and Riley Felton. All members of the Waynesburg starting 6 have made appearances. So no new faces for Coach Taylor looking to climb this steep hill. As Kousley back to serve for the Yellow Jackets, that time dug out by Taylor. Torres setting near side for Moore with a little effort there, but just enough to put it into no man's land and get the Bison on the board first, something they failed to do in sets 1 and 2. Emma Marthins into the game in place of Brooke Corley as the Bison get the serve. Felton will be responsible for that, dug out by Johnson as Kousley sets central portion of the court for Stohan. Torres shovels it over herself. Now Kousley setting near side for Brooks, dug out beautifully by Anna Taylor. Torres sets for more near side. Taylor diving effort but cannot keep it afloat, and Waynesburg gets the point back. So Corley will quickly make her way back onto the court as Osborne will drop back to serve for the Yellow Jackets. Service over that time, dug out by Corley. Torres with the set. Powerful strike there from Marthins, kept afloat, but cannot sneak its way over back onto Bison's half of the court. So Bethany will reestablish their lead. Asia Krim entering the game will immediately head back to serve. The service over from Krim, dug out by Brooks. Rather, that was Osborne. Now Marthins with a powerful effort past the diving Allison Johnson, and Emma Marthins showing off her strength directly in front of the court. Krim will continue to serve now for Bethany. Dug out there by Johnson. Kousley setting for Stohan. Now Kaler sends it over, dug out by Johnson. Kousley over to Burr, far side, dug out by Kaler. Torres quickly scrambling over, sets for Kaler near side, dug out by Johnson. Kousley setting for Brooks near side, redirected by the Bison. Waynesburg somehow keeping it afloat, sent over backwards by Torres. Kousley setting for Burr, far side, but a point in favor of the Bison. Tim Lutton, the R1, blowing play dead and ensuring him and Sue Oslager are on the same page. 4-1 Bison lead in set 3. Service dug out by Burr. Now Kousley setting for the libero Johnson. Dug out there by Taylor. Torres setting for Marthins with a shovel pass. Johnson keeps it alive one-handed. Osborne sends it over. Kaler has her attack redirected. Torres back to Kaler one more time. Redirected again, but out of play. And another point for the Bison. When this Bison squad gets going, they are one that is hard to slow down, as we see here in set number 3. Serve from Krim, dug out by Burr as Osborne sets, and Kousley trying to send it over behind her back, cannot do so. She immediately recognized the lack of execution there. Service over from Krim goes near side, Asia Krim placing it in beautifully. Michaela Osborne with a diving effort, cannot get to it. Now Coach Taylor calling a timeout after seeing the Bison take 7 of the first 8 points on the scoreboard in set number 3. No score at halftime between Bethany and Teal in women's soccer action. Mentioned the men's side, 3:30 kickoff at Dawn Field. That game, along with the second half of the women's coverage, can be live streamed on YouTube through the Bethany Broadcasting Network. Hillier quickly side back out on court. Not much to say. Takes 7 of the first 8 points. When you're in a situation, you can't really clean too much up other than the one mistake. Clock winds down into single digits for the time remaining, and Coach Taylor sends her side back out using as much of the clock as she can in these timeouts. Service over from Krim, dug out by Johnson. Now Kousley quiver. Sets for Burr, far side, dug out by Kaler and Torres sets for Kayla. One off the fingertips of Kayla Stohan, and the Bison claim another point. It has been all Bison so far here in set number 3. Krim service, that time dug out by Burr. Osborne setting for Brooks. She goes cross court. Taylor over to Kaler. That one dug out by Osborne. Kousley sets far side for Burr. She drops onto no man's land. Olivia Kaler and hoping. Cannot get anything to it there. So Stohan back to serve now for the Yellow Jackets. Dug out by Corley. Torres setting far side for Martins. Powerful effort there. Dug out beautifully by Kousley. And now Stohan shovels it over. That'll drop directly in front of Anna Taylor. Was trying to leave it apparently for Asia Krim. Miscommunication there between Krim and Taylor. 2 freshmen on this volleyball squad, as it's dug out by Taylor that time. Torres sets for Kaler. Redirected by the Jackets. Torres back to Kaler. Will be called for a double touch. Waynesburg trailing by 4. The service over from Stohan, dug out by Krim. Torres, Martins with a powerful effort. Back onto Bethany's half of the court. Bison switch court, redirect in front by Emma Hyatt. And Waynesburg slowly clawing their way back into set number 3. Have found a way to take the last 4. They're trailing 8-1. Dug out there by Taylor. Torres setting for Krim, who cannot get that one over. And now Coach Hillier signaling for a timeout, as the Bison have pretty much just collapsed. Coach Taylor's last timeout, dropping 5 consecutive points, and Waynesburg right back to set number 3. A look ahead schedule for both of these sides. Waynesburg heading to Greenville to take on Teal Tomcats on October the 19th, being Tuesday night, and then Thursday heading to Latrobe to play St. Vincent. Both of those clock starts. As for the Bison, a short trip to Steubenville, Ohio on Monday night, followed by a visit to New Wilmington, Pennsylvania, to take on undefeated Westminster the following night. About the packed schedule this Bison squad has to finish out the season, playing on back-to-back nights. Certainly not ideal, but the Bison have to make do. As mentioned earlier, they certainly have depth to handle the situation they're in currently. Stohan will continue to serve now. Jackets. Forest Hills High School product gets hers over. It's dug out by Taylor. Torres shovels it over herself. Dug out by Burr. Now setting for Brooks near side. Dug out beautifully there by Taylor. Torres sets for Corley, who wrecks it. Dug out there by Osborne. Kousley, powerful there from Hyatt. Off the tips of Martins. And Waynesburg continuing their momentum. Trailing by just a point. Serve that time dug out by Torres, setting near side, rather far side from Martins, and just inside line. Bison finally ending Waynesburg rally. Dahlgren re-enters in place of Taylor for the Bison. See the libero Johnson enter for Waynesburg. Now Sue Osley stopping play as Emma Hyatt had to tie her right shoe. Service over from Torres, dug out by Osborne, sends it over herself. Torres setting for Martins, powerful effort redirected by the Jackets. As Corley sets for Kaler near side, powerful effort redirected by Osborne. Corley keeps it afloat. Now Torres to Kaler, she'll do it one more time. Dug out beautifully by Johnson. Kousley setting far side for Burr, redirected by Emma Martins and Brooke Dahlgren. 2 in a row now for this Bison side as they slowly look to re-extend their lead. Service over from Torres, dug out by Osborne. Kousley setting for Brooks near side. Torres off her fingertips as Krim will set for Dahlgren far side. That one redirected by Burr off the fist of Dahlgren and out of play. 2 more substitutions now for Waynesburg as Marsh and DeFalla re-enter in place of Kousley and Brooks. Coach Taylor certainly not opposed to squad rotation during the match. That powerful effort there from Kaler, redirected by the Jackets, but out of play, so the point will go to the Bison. As Felton re-enters in place of Emma Martins. Service over from Corley, off the hands of Marsh. That'll drop as nobody was home. Bison will be thankful for that point. Doesn't have to be a pretty point. It all counts the same on the scoreboard. Service over from Corley, dug out by Osborne. Powerful effort there from Kaler. Mixed signals from our line judges, but ultimately was Schafrin on the near side, overruling Steve Dovrashelsky on the far side. Jordan Stein will re-enter to serve now for Waynesburg. Service dug out by Corley, a low as Dahlgren will shovel it over. Johnson setting for Marsh near side, dug out by Torres. Corley setting for Dahlgren, who tries to go across court. DeFalla with the diving effort, got nothing on it, so with that one heading out of play, point will go in favor of Waynesburg. Serve over from Stein, it's dug out by Krim. Torres sets for Dahlgren. She goes cross court off the hand of Burr. Rather, that was Jordan Stein. She'll do a somersault on the court, have that one carried back behind her bench. Bison reestablish their 3-point lead. Serve over from Kaler, dug out by Johnson. Stein quickly calling off Johnson. She goes far side to Osborne, kept afloat by the Bison. Torres to Dahlgren. That one just out of play as Dahlgren in complete disbelief. But that one missed the line by a matter of inches. Stohan entering in place of Hyatt for Waynesburg. It's Johnson's service dug out by Dahlgren. Torres scampering that one off the rafters and will drop. So another point for Waynesburg. Just 1 point separating the two sides here in set number 3. Serve over from Johnson, dug out by Kaler. That'll carry its way over. And Olivia Kaler will do it herself as everyone from Waynesburg immediately retreated from the ball and just allowed it to drop. Anna Taylor back in place of Brooke Dahlgren. Service over from Taylor, dug out by Osborne. Now DeFala sets it for Marsh. It's dug out by Taylor, but not before play is stopped. Point will go in place of the Jackets, or in favor of the Jackets, I should say. As Waynesburg set to make two substitutions. Marsh and DeFala out of the game. It's Cowsley serving now for the Jackets. One dug out by Taylor. Torres setting far side for Felton. Powerful effort off the right fist of Cowsley. And Riley Felton getting the Bison back into serving possession. Felton service there, dug out. Cowsley setting for Brooks near side off the fist of Taylor. Felton keeps it afloat. Torres dug out there by Johnson as Cowsley sets for Stohan off the hand of Kaler. Torres sets for Taylor, who calmly sends that one over. Cowsley digs it out. Stohan sets for Brooks near side over the head of Kaler, and another point for the Bison. Felton will continue to serve now for Bethany. One dug out by Stein. As Cowsley sets near side for Brooks. That one off the hands of Taylor. Knew right away it was going out of play. Frustrated with herself. Burr will re-enter in place of Stein for Waynesburg. Corley in place of Felton for the Bison. Serve over from Osborne. Dug out by Taylor. Set from Torres to Jess Moore. She'll take a lot off of that. That'll drop past the diving Hannah Burr. Jess Moore getting another point, and she will exit the game in favor of Asia Krim. Krim, the freshman from Shoals, Indiana, will enter to serve now. That serve is dug out by the Jackets. Set from Cowsley. Brooks with the attack. Just out of play as Taylor pulled it back. Bison continuing to inch closer and closer to magic number 25 to ultimately close out the set and the match. Serve over from Krim, dug out by the Jackets. Set far side for Burr. That one off the hands of a pair of Bison. As it was Burr with the dig and Burr with the attack. Allison Johnson out of the game in place of Emma Hyatt. Serve over from Stohan, dug out by Krim. Torres setting near side for Kaler with a powerful effort, but that one just out of play. Waynesburg trailing by 2. Serve over from Stohan, dug out by Taylor. Torres setting for Kaler near side. Powerful effort there from Kaler, redirected by Brooks. Nobody home for Bethany. Allows that one to drop. Waynesburg on another rally in set number 3. Serve dug out by Corley. Torres sets for Marthins. That one off the hand of Michaela Stohan, who will now check out of the game in place of Allison Johnson. Brooke Dahlgren entering for the Bison, substituting out Anna Taylor. Torres will be responsible for serving for Bethany. One dug out by Osborne. Redirection there off of her left wrist. We'll send that one directly in front of the Bison women's basketball team, awaiting the use of the court following this volleyball match. Torres service cross court, dug out by Brooks. Cowsley setting for Hyatt, central portion of the court. That one will fall out of play. Bison ahead 21-17. We'll see a new appearance here for Bethany. Destiny Goodnight in place of Olivia Kaler. Goodnight, the junior from Youngstown, Ohio, a transfer from Mercyhurst Northeast Junior College. Service over from Torres, off the arms of Osborne. That one will ricochet away one more time, as Osborne has had some trouble the past couple of serves being able to receive them cleanly. Service over from Torres, that one out of play, as Burr and Osborne will see it out. Two more substitutions for Waynesburg. The same two entering in Marsh and Dufala, the same two exiting in Brooks and Cowsley. Service over from Dufala, dug out by Krim. Torres setting far side for Dahlgren. Powerful effort off the hands of a diving Allison Johnson. Bethany 2 points away from closing out the set and the match, as Coach Hillier gets set to make two substitutions. You see Grace Tice entering for Riley Felton. Felton had went back onto the court and quickly right back off. Serve over from Corley, dug out there by Dufala. Now back onto the Bison half of the court, as Torres sets for Goodnight with a powerful effort, but that one will carry out of play. Go in favor of the Jackets, as Jordan Stein checks back in place of Hannah Burr. Tice making her first appearance, the sophomore from Mansfield, Pennsylvania. Serve over from Stein, dug out by Corley. Torres will set near far side for Goodnight. Dufala will keep it afloat for the Jackets. Osborne sends it over, dug out by Krim. Torres setting for Dahlgren, far side, redirected by Osborne right in front. Waynesburg getting point number 20 here in the set. As this one goes down to the wire, a reminder, one side must win the set by 2. As the service over from Stein, dug out by Corley. Torres setting for Tice, redirects that one. Tice sends it back up into the air for the Bison. Dahlgren near side, diving effort there from Dufala. Stein goes back court to Marsh. That one from Goodnight off the face of Alexis Marsh. Bison 1 point away, two more substitutions now for Bethany. Kaler entering for Goodnight. Asia Krim out of the game. And now Coach Taylor, with potentially the match point on the line, going to call another timeout. Seen her do this in every set thus far here inside Nutting Gymnasium. Coach Hillier, not really much to say to her side other than going out there and ensuring they get this point number 25. It would be 25 consecutive victories against these Waynesburg Yellow Jackets for the Bethany volleyball program and Coach Hillier. Waynesburg hanging on for dear life at this point. "13 minutes into the second half of women's soccer action. Coach Dawn Altfield at Bison Stadium. Still no score between the Tomcats and your Bison. Coach Alyssa Finelli looks for win number 1 in conference play this season for women's soccer. Both squads back out onto the court. It'll be Olivia Kaler serving for the Bison. Service over that time, dug out by Johnson. Dufala quickly over to set for Osborne far side. Dug out there by Corley. Torres setting for Moore near side. That one off the top of the net and it falls down. Jess Moore finishing off set number 3, 25-20. Bison taking set 2 by that identical scoreline. And set number 1, 25-19. Drew Von Sayo set to wrap things up here with you briefly on the Bethany Broadcasting Network. Bison officially clinching win number 7 in conference play, win number 10 overall this season, sweeping Waynesburg 3-0, 25 straight victories for this Bison volleyball program over the Jackets, as Waynesburg certainly had its moments in this one, but the experience of the Bison and of Coach Hillier ultimately being the difference. The Bison having 2 away games as their next 2 on the schedule. Waynesburg as well with 2 road games. The next time the Bison will be in action here inside Hummel Fieldhouse is set for Saturday, October 23rd. It'll be a 1 o'clock tip-off between them and the Grove City Wolverines. Once again, your final score, the Bison taking this one 3-0 over the Waynesburg Yellow Jackets. This is Drew Von Sayo, and you've been watching PAC Volleyball on the Bethany Broadcasting Network, streamed live on YouTube.